Let's begin with Texas snowflakes today. Okay, it's a blizzard. It's a blizzard. Okay. It's a full-on blizzard. Did you like add a new engine to that? It's like power bubbling me. It's not the gentle draft. Okay. Point made. Hi, I teach art. My name's Cinnamon Cooney. I am your art Sherpa, and I was going to show you today, well, I still am, how to paint this fabulous Prima ballerina standing in front of her stage with lights and cameras flashing and everything. She's actually really fun painting because she's a black and white painting with hip hop of color. On the mic is my husband, John.
Hi, guys.
He's going to be tracking me with cameras and apparently blasting me with Texas snowflakes or bubbles for the rest of you, if you have actual snow. And I don't know why I sound so punchy about people having actual snow.
Just snow envy.
I have snow envy, apparently. If you check the description below, the materials are there. But let me just say right off the bat, if you're like, I don't really want a soft pink tutu, I need a red tutu, just change it up red. You can change the colors that are the accent colors very easily on this piece. So if you're painting it for somebody as a gift, it's going to be one of those ones that customizes really well. And if you don't draw, yes, we have a traceable. So you can go ahead and transfer that on your canvas, which we're starting out today as an 11 by 14. See, here's my traceable, and there's my canvas, and it's all packed full of good and yummy wishes to make the world and universe a better place. So Kelly wishes for health, peace, joy, and financial freedom. Dude, me too, Kelly. Me too. Bonnie for her brother-in-law's recovery. Tammy wishes for healing for all people who may be suffering in the world today. Tammy, good wish. Sarah Beth wishes for her mom and for her MS to improve. Lily wishes for relief from a great sadness. And I have to say, guys, remember that great sadness, especially if it comes without, like, you know, a great loss, that's a medical condition. It's okay to get help and reach out to your friends and family. There is literally zero shame in that. And it's one of those times, like, you wouldn't go through like 104 fever alone. So don't go through that alone. Cronin GM wishes for happiness for the whole world. I love these wishes. Tammy wishes for her mother's health and for her to have a complete recovery. Florence for her coworker dealing with loss. Nicola's having a scan. She would like some good news. And Gloria is wishing for her husband's recovery, his fast healing, having had family. John even recently going through that. I have to say I share that with you. So good wishes today. Let's look at our materials anyways, even though there's very few. I have my titanium whiteout, my Mars black, my Prussian blue. I have my gloss glazing liquid by Golden. So this is a singular product. This isn't some sort of weird secret brand alignment. What this is they made this, and it slows the drawing time down and is a glaze. That's why I like this one. My handy dandy pouncers. I don't know why these came from Blue's Clues all of a sudden, but they are, and we're going to use these to do these. This is my kind, but of course, this is a tool you can find in craft stores. So grab what you have. Some people like pom-poms and half grapes, so a lot of things work. I also have a little bit of zinc white hanging off to the side and some low-tack tape so I can get my crisp stage light designs. And then, very importantly, and most critically, I have coffee. But you could have tea or whatever you're drinking today.
Well, not if you want me to stay awake, I won't.
No, not for you. Now I'm going to get a big brush. I'm going to get a big brush. This is my number 30 TheArtSherpa brush. But listen, you just want a brush that's wide enough to make covering your canvas with a coat of black an easy job. This does that. And those who've had it, like, oh my gosh. I know. Things you wish for your whole life and then can have once you're making them. All right, so I'm going to pull off the water. I'm going to load my brush. So see how I'm pulling that out on there? And then I come the other side and I load. So the toe of the brush is where the paint comes out. The belly of the brush is where the paint is held. We've got to get some paint in that belly, right? So let's do that. And that would be why sometimes when I'm painting, my paint goes further. Also, there's a lot of pigment in my paint. Like a lot. It's like, I tend to like companies that put so much pigment in your paint that it's almost too much pigment. So a lot of times when you hear me going, oh, I like this company or that company, it's about the amount of pigment they give me because that's the secret sauce. All of this is just some nonsense to get some color to that flat surface. All right, I'm dipping again in my water. That's going to improve flow. I'm loading one side and loading the other side. And I am going back and forth, just covering. Now you can see where I've thinned the paint quite a lot. It's a little bit streaky and gray, and where I haven't, there's a lot of coverage. And so that's something that you as artists are going to be playing with and thinking about depending on what paint you're using, because they're all a little different. Even though they're the same, they're not. Back and forth I go, giving myself a nice surface to work from.
So there were some folks that were asking about your necklace.
The golden
And-
snitch.
Yeah, and so you guys know the golden snitch comes from this place called Hogwarts. It's a school for magical students, and they play a game there, and that's what that's about. So it's a little golden ball.
That's right, the golden ball.
Yeah.
You know,
So if you're a sports fan and you like magic,
everyone's like, paint sports, and I'm like, can I play Quidditch? Is that a sport?
well, sure it is. That's actually it's a really, I mean,
Actually,
those guys
guys
are some
lucky 'cause
competitive players.
You know, I absolutely love Harry Potter, but I came up in the Piers Anthony group, right? So, whole different set of games. Whole different. We were talking about that. Frank
Dor
Herbert.
doesn't play the same games
Frank
as everyone
Herbert.
else.
I'm like, Fremen Warrior games are awesome.
Yeah. Well,
So, I'm going to wipe this out on my towel, try to get some pigment out before I get it in the water, and I'm going to rinse it out. And then put it to
well,
the
you know, my
side.
favorite board game is Duck.
That's not even okay, John Cooney. So this has to dry so I can transfer on. And while I'm letting it dry a little bit, I'm going to show you something.
What's that?
I'm going to be demoing this transfer paper by Cyril, but understand there are different types of transfer paper. Some of them have wax and some of them don't. The wax kind isn't designed to go on your painting and then be removed with like a wet brush. I do put links down here, but another thing, I'm not going to name it because I don't want them to come from me, but the large shipping warehousing place that I do this with has in the past shipped products that are not what it is. This is the one what it is. Transfer paper. It should be wax free, and it should say it's good for fine art. That's the one. And I'm going to use yellow because that's going to show up. I'm going to dry now. I just thought I'd say that because that's something that I think there must have been one of those things like where they shipped the wrong kind or something. People
Yeah. Now,
recently.
I know
Well,
that you
probably.
cover this a lot, but Jennifer was asking, when you're going in there today, could you really make a point of talking about how you dip your brush properly in the paint and how you can load it? Because
Yes, but Jennifer, Facebook,
oh
Technique Tuesday.
oh good, yeah.
So I went back to the beginning and I created a whole new series, and we literally do like everything from this is how far you dip your brush in the water to this is how you load it. This is what's happening. This is the difference between the paints, like everything you've got to know. So I'm going to definitely be illuminating this throughout because I think that has to be true in everything. But if you're like wanting to really drill down on that, that's there. That's free. There's a playlist.
That's
I'm really
good
proud
to
of
know.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to try this if you'll turn off the SC and
Oh,
talk
yeah,
to
yeah.
everybody for a minute.
I can do that. Do. Okay, that button.
Do.
And then I go that button. And yeah. Okay. So while she's doing that, I will say you can, if you guys, I saw someone ask if you have a pre-gessoed black canvas. Yeah, that's totally fine to do. If you have black gesso, you can gesso your canvas. If you have black paint, that's all fine. Gesso adds a little bit more tooth to it so that it has more bite, and it's also a little more flat. When you're drying your surface, make sure you use your air mover on the lowest setting, just to make sure that you don't introduce any heat-induced color distortion or cracking, which can happen on more budget-minded paints. So also check the link in the description down below where you'll find a link to our website where we have all our materials and stuff listed there. There's a traceable. There's all sorts of great tools there that you can find. Also information on the gnomes and the notification there.
I'm wiping the edges because sometimes on these panels, these aren't really boards, they're sort of like pressed panel things.
It's cardboard with some.
Yes, but it works and
Yeah.
it stores and it's economical. Right? So
Yes.
factors that we think of as artists. All right. So I'm going to get the image on there, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a sheet of paper to the size I'm going to want, right? I can use this a multitude times. It's not a one and done product. I don't even think I'm like, I have not even yet ever gotten a chance to talk to this company. If you know them, say, good job. So the first thing that I like to do to get this placed is I place my traceable as that falls gently to the ground where I'd like her to be. I'm going to use my low tack tape to sort of affix her, position her where she initially will be. So I'll go up here and say a little bit for you. By the way, this is reusable. Some of you guys have been like, man, that low tack tape. If you're not going to do the tappy jean trick that I've shown you in the past and you're using the low tack tape, remember that it's reusable. I have some pieces that will go for like 2 weeks. John's like, it's like a very strange kind of conservation I get going.
It's like pet tape.
Yeah, and John is so funny because he's like, are you still going on that piece of tape? And I'm like, it's still good. It's still good. So that's sometimes how I get around some of my budget concerns because I have them just like you do.
I just
I'm
get concerned.
a YouTuber. It's not like, AdSense is like woohoo, especially in art. They don't pay us as much as say they would pay somebody in makeup. You might not know that. Weird fun fact. All right, so I'm going to tape her down in 2 more places, and the reason I'll do that is so she doesn't shift on me. Right? And ballerinas, they're a wiggly group. They're going to want to shift, so you got to want to watch them. And then you're going to come over with just a sharpened pencil, and I think I'm going to do one that you can see, and you're going to trace over this. So we're going to come here, do our little foreshortened jaw, bring the neck down because she's got a bit of a twist because this is actually where her spine is. If you guys were not 100% sure, I'm going to slope that a little bit, just bring this down. Now, here at this elbow, go ahead and make another line right here into the waist because her arm is actually, we're really just talking about the bend, right? You can come down here. Let's make sure that these should be about the same, so I'm going to put that right there. I like to line those up. All right, pulling this down, giving myself some thoughts about where I think any of this is,
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably use my brush to go there. And then I've got a little bit of bun I got to talk about. Remember to check your eye lines. Your ears should be able to have glasses. I'm going to have this weird little loose sketched bit of ballerina sort of placed onto my canvas. And now I'm going to do a little adjustment here after I imagine. You can see where all those lines ended up transferred, right?
Now, tracing is
She's
one of those
going to come
things.
over here.
Tracing is one of those things where it's a skill you really have to practice.
Tracing is an art skill. It's one that we use pretty consistently. And the reason is because sometimes materials or media is expensive, and you don't want to be second guessing yourself in that sort of venue. I'm going to take a brush with some water on it, and I'm going to just erase these lines. See how they do erase? So that's really about, I think, the tracing paper that people are using. I think a lot of times people go out and buy something, they either the shipping company sent them the wrong one, or they feel it's the same, but it's actually a very different product. So one of the ways to use my affiliate links, even if you shop from somewhere else, is to get brands, SKU numbers, stuff like that, to help you make the best informed purchases that you can. All right. I'm just sort of cleaning that up a little bit. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to refine some things. I'm going to come. I'm wondering if I need what are my chalks? Where did my chalks go? I had chalks and they were so helpful. And I walk off with some chalks. I'm going to just get this Crayola chalk right here.
Just get some chalk.
I'm going to just get some chalk.
Yeah.
Let's get some pink chalk today. So I just want to make sure that I'm real happy with the slope of her face and that I've got everything as lined up as I want. Also, I feel like this will help some of you guys that are sketching her in. Remember that you've got to have a very good hanger for those shoulders and that slope, right? So, got a nice little back of the skull, a little bun and hairline. This is actually, you can kind of even point the hair to let you know that that's where you're going to go. And there's my little bodice. And then let's really kind of think about these arms a bit. So this comes down is this bicep. And then we have the elbow, right? And just make sure you've got something coming into your body so that as you do that, there's that shadow there because it would, right? She's holding flowers in front of herself. All right, there we go. So it's okay to even from your traceable, sometimes even refine an idea or a sketch. These are just to help create a unity across our design space, right? Once I have that in, that should really let you see her in all of her aspects. There's a step-by-step on Instagram, not on my IGTV, but on my regular Instagram that I actually have there. All right, so let's get a nice scumbly happy brush. I'm going to get been a while. I'm going to get Goldilocks out. Hi, Goldie. All right, I'm going to dip Goldie. This is my number 10 bright into my water, and I'm going to get a lot of blue and black together. This is going to cool the color. And I'm going to just come back. It's fussy, guys, but it's going to make such a difference on your finish. And I'm going to get very painterly with the brush stroke. See how I'm being painterly? This mild blue into your background will make that deep, deep color that I have. Nice time to like refine around your dancer. Make sure you're happy with those lines as you would want to be, right? Because you want to be happy with them. Goes in. Get that deep, 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 dark, 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 blacker than black. Maybe not Vanta black, but at least Stuart Semple black, black. It's so weird how much I know about black paint now. I know not only like all the kinds of black, I even know where the black paint drama is.
Flory asked an interesting question.
Hi.
Can you use sewing chalk pencils, or is that a different kind of chalk?
So I'd have to look at each of them because some, not all, some of the sewing marking tools have a little wax in them so that they hold up through a wash. And some don't because you want it to be gone during a wash. And you'd have to really look at each product. What you're wanting is a product that would disappear in a wash. So if you're using any quilting or sewing tools, there's actually several that cross over, but you're going to want to look at their ingredient list very carefully. But good instinct. That's a good instinct to think that. Be like, hey, I think I might have a thing here. Yeah, you might. You might. I'm going to get a little bit more of this. So this is a weird deal that I'm going to do, but I'm going to just directionally kind of start doing my brush strokes for my tutu. And you can't even see them on here, but later it will make me super happy that I did them. Because then I'll be like, her tutu is so tutu, tutu, tutu. Okay, so she's ready. She's looking at her world, and I can start painting in her base skin tone. I've rinsed out my brush. I'm going to put that to the side. I'm going to get a smaller brush that's going to be a little scumblier for me. I'm trying to decide between, I think I'm going to get a 6 for the size of her. And I'm going to just be making some black and white mixtures over here. So what I'm going to want is to make maybe not the darkest shade in her skin tone, but like a mid-range between those two. Right? Because I want her dark, but not so dark I can't see her. So let's go right here. And we're going to paint in everything that's skin in that mid-gray. So you want to be able to shade it down one more shadow and shade it up. There's lots of little shading in here. If you guys painted Daenerys with me or any of the Guy Tang paintings, you know what we're doing. You're like, oh yeah, I remember this. You're crazy. some of the pink is going to get into my chalk, don't worry about that. Because I have the right to, through the process of demo, do really crazy things in an effort to help you guys have a good experience. So see, I'm just making that same gray again and again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like right here, you know, that would be the darkest shade I think that she might even have in her shadows. That would be too dark to paint her. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're just trying to keep that mid-tone. So we can shade up, shade down, and not work too hard. You're going to notice that as we paint this in, we lose some of what we had. And that's okay. Right? It's okay for us to lose some of our detail in the painting process. Drawing and painting, the reason I tend to be a little bit chill and it makes predominantly pencil artists a little crazy, but they're not always familiar with what we do as a painter, is that drawing for painting is very different because we're blocking in form. We're not really working out these details at this stage. So I just got to know where stuff basically is. I can move it over as I want. It's much easier for me. I'm not working with a pencil, and I just need to know some basic stuff. So, and I'll be cleaning up that pink that I've got a little bit of a crazy mess going from now. As you can see, it's actually kind of cool. This is making me now think of a black and pink painting that I should do. Hi, John. That I should do. Am I getting manic again?
There's some paintings that you want to do.
There's so many paintings. I'm scheduling out. There's about a month scheduled out, and I think I'm going to get through August. And it's really tough because
there's not enough days in the month.
There's not enough days in the year. That's why I was like, when everyone's like, oh no, watercolors. I'm like, dude, you have no idea how many paintings I'm not getting to do. This is almost like a fidget spinner for me. I need this. You know? And then also like, I want to get my stuff out there so I can have it and know that I got to do it. It's weird.
We're having a lot of fun.
I like it.
I like that the website's coming together and the technology's all coming together to back
the website looks so good, babe. Thank you. And thanks to the community that helped us make that happen.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got that right there. Now, while she's having a little bit of a dry, I'm going to come back through again with my black and blue and just clean up a few things because why wouldn't you? Right?
Yeah.
You would clean that up. You wouldn't leave that messy. Nobody. So we're going to just make sure that we clean that up. I need a little less white in that brush, so I just take that out and go back into my black. Back in black. I don't ever just belt AC/DC ever. I'm just cleaning it up. You clean up yours, I'll clean up mine, and everybody will be happy all the time. Maybe, hopefully. Alrighty, boop, 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 boop. That's good stuff. Now, I'm leaving as much info on the hair because I won't really see the hair till I start to put in the lights and all the stuff that's going on in the background and really work my blue. And that way I have some idea where it was because there's this strange moment where the hair can completely disappear on you. Now, I'm going to make another gray, but this one's a lot lighter than the first. And that's going to be for the bodice. Corset, I guess. I looked at a lot of dance costumes. I am a huge fan of dance.
I did not know.
Are you being funny?
I did not know that you like dance after watching every dance musical movie ever made.
Debbie Allen is my teacher. And I am so upset that that wasn't a school for real that I could go to. Because let me tell you, the School for Performing Arts did not have Debbie Allen or Leroy. Like, they did not have musical numbers that broke out in the middle of class. Fame is forever. Okay, so give me a pair of scissors and a t-shirt and I will show you fashion. Good times. No, like the disappointment of that was just palpable. Like, I think that's what really happened to me in my schooling is I found out that there wasn't going to be an impromptu musical at lunch.
You know what, though?
Hmm.
There are impromptu musicals here in our studio.
Why do you think we have them?
Both when we're live and when we're not live.
I don't think there was any part of me that I hid from you when we were dating. So you came into this fully aware.
You should tell them what you're doing.
I'm just painting this all in that one light gray color.
Okay, so just
I'm just painting it all in that one light gray color. I'm being kind of loose and see how I'm being like wiggle, 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 wiggle here?
Yeah.
I'm going to come back over with tutu, but I got happy and got painting that.
Now, are you wetting your brush when you were getting more paint there, or was you just?
I actually if it was real dry and I wasn't getting coverage, I'll wet. But this first layer, I just got to get her on. I got to get some different values on.
Okay.
Is all that's happening. I'm gonna make a darker gray. Make a dark gray, then all of that, and then that's gonna be between where the lacing is gonna go. Right there you go. I might even take that slightly darker gray above. It's a weird deer above the corset because, and here in the back and the arm. Let's give yourself also a little bit of your darker color right here where the arm is tucked to the body. See what I'm talking about? Then I'll come back. No water yet. I'm just, this process, what I'm doing here, this is called blocking in. I'm basically just laying out the shapes of where stuff is. And letting my stuff dry like you do. Now, next fun, scumbly fun layer. I'm going to put out a little bit of my zinc because I'm going to get into my Prussian blue and I want to blue things up, but I want to blue them up in a way that doesn't change the color of the blue. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my Prussian. I've got a number 10 silver Cambridge here. And I'm going to come around her face up here and everything, and I'm going to brush this back. I don't know how well the camera will see what I'm doing, but your eye will see it. At home?
Yeah, I'm picking up a little bit of that bluing.
Yeah. And that's how I get her black hair to pop against such a dark background. This is a little trick. So, these little things that we do, right? That we do. And we've got to create the sense of mist and space and context in our paintings. I don't know about you, but like I just went to a movie yesterday for like the first time in forever, and that was like actually exciting because I was at a house.
It seems like the last time we went to a movie was when the last time that movie was out.
I know. Our faces, we were like, what do you mean it's been 14 years since The Incredibles was in the theater?
It's like, that's the last time we had a date.
Because that was before Honey. We talk a lot about life before my eldest child. And all the married couples with kids going, yeah. Back when, we were a couple. All right, so I'm just, see how I'm very loosely, like I'm just doing this loosely open brushing and it's just this blue and I'm letting it go over. So this is the start of that and we'll get into the zinc of that. And you can go over a little bit of below where you know you're going to have a tutu because, she's dramatic, guys, and you got to give her drama. This would also work if you wanted to do like an Irish folk dancer. You would just change the costuming. Similar presentation, though, just so you know. I know I'm going to get that question. Mostly because we have a very famous Irish folk dancer in our community, Wyatt, and probably like won every award on the planet now. Like amazing kid. Okay, so now that I have that invisible bluing, I'm going to come into my zinc. And notice how, unlike white, which would just make this sort of a creamy blue, the zinc definitely lifts it, but it does it in a way that doesn't change the nature of the blue. And so I'm going to take this mild. See how it's just a dusting of it? I go lift, lift, lift. Look how little there is. And I come over, still so little. But look at the big impact on the canvas. It's just like, what? Where'd that come from? Yeah, no, it's go figure. And I'm gonna put this little bit of blue kind of peeking through that arm. Come here and be like, take that out into the atmosphere. Like, go wiggle, 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 wiggle. I got a wiggle on. You got your wiggle on. See? A little, ah. Uh-oh. So I'm like Donkey Kong now.
I think there's a
There's a game afoot.
there's a gaming going on. I think
They have Warcraft.
no, they're
Oh.
playing I think Amazing Frog.
That game. How is that the game?
It's a sandbox game.
Oh, okay. I'm just like Spider's always telling me what the frogs are doing. Frogs in space. That's not painting related, and you guys don't.
It's like Minecraft, but kind of
I'm not endorsing it.
it's just a different kind of,
All right, so I'm going to load up a little more white onto my brush and get a little blue, but much more white this time. And I'm going to make sure that I am dusting out a little bit of this wispy, wiggle, 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 little wispy, wispy sort of lighting effect, right? And I'm working the corner of my brush. I'm not trying to take it up too far because this is the front of the stage where the front lights are shooting out towards the audience and up. Stage letting people know what I'm talking about. And that's giving the theater its little drama. And they're all throwing roses at her, and in her mind, she's defying gravity. Okay, so
I've been learning so much about lighting from Terry's husband, Jason.
yeah,
Like all the DMX stuff
Right.
that I need to learn.
that is how we get that effect. Not an easy effect to get if you don't know the tricks, but we know the tricks, so we got it. Now we have that subtle lighting effect where we're like, ooh.
It's coffee time.
Mm-hmm. It's reheat my coffee time and remind the children that we have a live show that we
I
do
did.
to
I did. They're good.
buy the toys and play the games. I know. They do really like this frog game. It's so weird saying. Like, it's just so strange. I have no words for it. Next thing I'm going to do is pouncers. I'm going to talk to you about the pouncers. So I have a bunch of sizes. In this one, for this size canvas, I'm actually not going to use my biggest size. If I was doing a 16 by 20, I would use these two. But with the 11 by 14 or 9 by 10, I'm going to stick to these two just for the aspect ratio of it. I do think it's important to do two sizes. I'm going to be working the Prussian blue and the zinc and the Prussian blue and the titanium to give different densities of light. And we're going to practice like fading them out. We're going to dry that. And then I'm going to use tape to create a spotlight effect with my zinc. I am going to demo on one of those how to do it with white and a glazing medium. Now, if you don't have my kind of medium, you could use a soft gel, or some people have gotten away with a varnish. There's a lot of ways through, so don't feel trapped. We're actually making good time. Bum 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 bum. All right. So first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna load up a bunch of the Prussian blue onto my pouncer, and I'm gonna go up and down into the wet paint like you see there. See how I'm doing? Boom, 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 boom. And then I'm going to get some zinc because it's more transparent. And I'm going to playfully press into the canvas and twist. Press and twist back the opposite way. Push in, twist forward, push in, twist back. That's how I get a darker spot. If I want a really light spot, I press and twist just one direction. It gives me a barely there. You guys see how that does that? Put a little more Prussian blue. I like to say Prussian blue, don't you? Maybe not as much as I do. I'm going to load up more. Look at me go dap, 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 dap. See this where the bubbles, that's foaming? There's a lot of stuff in my paint to prevent that. Heavy body paint is the least of the foaming paints. Just know if you're painting a soft body paint, you're going to get more and you'll have to hand brush that out. So try to imagine in your mind that these are the press. There are people taking pictures. I'll put one right there. I think that'll help her bun show. And so you want to place these around where you expect there would be spotlights or extra drama. Now I'm going to come back with my titanium white, which you can see I come grab on this corner and then I twist. That's how I load it. I might even make a couple of these that brighter white. Isn't that cool? I feel like that should be a brighter white.
Oh, yeah.
I love lights. I love the nightlife. I like to boogie. Boo boo boo. Now, when these are done, they must be rinsed out. You don't want to leave the paint on your sponge. I do have some ways to get it up and off, but if you can avoid that experience, I highly recommend it. It's like my glasses, babe.
I was just seeing if I could see what you were doing over there.
Oh, I
Can't
have
really.
a cup of water, and I'm just very quickly just squeezing out the paint, getting my hands quite dirty, which is why my nails look crazy. That's why.
That's
As
why.
artist. People are like, "What's up with your nails?" I'm a creative person.
I cannot afford a twice or 3 times a day nail treatment.
I can't even afford a once a week nail treatment. Who are these people that can keep the nails? I can't. It's okay if you can.
Well, you would wreck
Beautiful
your,
that you can keep your nails. I can't.
but you would wreck your nails 3 or 4 times a day.
I would. My nails would be over. I had so many engagement rings in the beginning.
Oh, yeah, we were jewelry people for a while.
Well, no, but remember you had all the heirloom pieces
We
from
did,
your
yeah.
family. All right, I'm just doing these. It's just the zinc white right now, and I'm just putting these a couple places, like you do. Yeah, I do some of them I press light.
Mm-hmm.
But if I really wanted to show, I press twice. And I can go into any of my blue and make some mid-tone ones. Look at that. So fun to do. And I like to layer them. All right. What will happen is I will pounce too much.
Tigger.
I'll pounce out. I'm going to rinse that out. I'll show you again. Oh,
She
my
just-
hands get wrecked. Yeah, so John had rings from his family, and he came initially with this beautiful, beautiful diamond ring. But it was really far above my hand, and I was doing pottery at the time on the wheel. That thing like almost killed me. And I just gave back. I said, I'm not turning down the marriage, but I cannot wear the ring. And I do not want to explain to your mother where the diamond went if I put that thing in some clay and cook it in a kiln. She's not going to get over her feelings about me if that happens.
No.
No.
And the first time I arc welded something with my wedding band, I was like, "Oops, can't do that."
Yeah. So then we had gone and we had some custom bands designed, and then he arc welded, and then we just realized we're married people, but we're not wedding band people.
Mm-mm.
Because I'm going to dry this very thoroughly with my hair dryer.
Thoroughly dry.
Thoroughly.
All right. So as you're doing that, I'll say thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us, because there's a bunch of you guys coming and hanging out with us today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So nice to see everybody out here. Really nice to hang with you guys always. Don't forget, you can find information about what we're doing in the links in the description down below. All of the links to our traceables and stuff like that are there. Kim was saying that all that's been updated, so you should be able to find that there right now. I hear her singing over there while she's doing her drying. I'm sure there's some other stuff that I should be telling you about, but I don't remember. I hope you guys are having fun today. It's a Saturday. And tomorrow is Cinnamon's birthday, for those of you who don't know. 7/1, and won't tell the date. That's totally her thing. So, but tomorrow's birthday. So if you guys, happy birthday on social media and stuff. Okay, and she's back.
I'm back.
You're back.
From outer space.
We were just talking. Chatting.
With that sad look on your face. Okay.
You don't know what we were talking about, do you?
I don't know, because I was hair drying.
You
And then
can't-
thinking about taping.
We got secrets.
Secret.
We didn't see. We can talk with you out. Knowing.
Bubble me, baby. Don't you love that I have like bubble on command?
I think that. Look. Let me see if I can do it. Oh, we even got music there. Look at that. Some bubble music. Oh, there's bubbles everywhere. They just go everywhere.
Yeah, they're just on everything. All right. So, the first light I'm going to set is this corner one, and I'm going to take a fairly long piece of tape. And you guys are special, so you get new tape. And I really liked it coming from this corner space. No, they are. They're special. They get new tape.
We've got guests over, baby. Use the new tape.
Woo! All right. Hope you like us because we can't fix it.
It's just who we are.
It's just who we are. Okay. So I'm going to come right here. And if you can see, I don't know if the Zoom can see, I'm going to get a little sliver point. And then I'm going to expand the light. Yeah, I've expanded it. Now it makes this nice little shape. Now I'm going to want one that's going to come kind of like here. There's going to be one that comes like here. And then I've got another one that comes here. So next piece of tape.
$8 roll tape.
I'm never gonna forget that. That's like when Honey and I were like Wingardium Leviosa together. We're like, So I need to. You want this to be kind of like cylindrical, so it should be like open here and then narrowing, tapering. What is that? Conical.
Conical, yeah.
Thank you. Not cylindrical, conical. Not Harry Connick Jr. You don't want that with your tape. So I like Harry Connick Jr. and he doesn't need to write me an angry letter going like, hey, I've been paying with you for like a bunch of years.
I'd be like, dude.
Really?
That's awesome.
I'm just trying to find a nice placement of that light, right? That's coming around her. She's a lit. And she's a lit on this side. This is a great time to work out the hair right here. So by making this light come off the back of her hair like this, it's going to also help me pop her black hair against a black background. Artist tricks. So tricky.
Terry says, we're not company, we're family. Family gets the used tape.
Family. Terry's right. Terry would get the used tape. She is family. She can like my daughter is like really concerned about like, are we going to see Terry again? She's going to play. She's been drawing her pictures.
It's true.
It's family at this point. All right. So there we go. Now, I find personally with dyslexia that this space gets confusing.
This is very confusing what you've done here.
I know it is. But I have a way to get you through.
Okay, I'm gonna hang in with you.
I have a visual aid.
Oh, that's true.
Hey, wait. I am a visual aid. Now,
all right, I'll be right
the
back.
reason that we have... Where are you going? Oh, okay. Am I good? I'm going to do a little line here coming off the shoulder. The reason we have 5 lights is sometimes it's nice to create an uneven number of things. And since she's so symmetrically placed, by making the lights uneven, it creates just a smidge of drama where we'd want it with her. This technique, by the way, is going to work with anything. If you got my punk rock ATC in the mail, that's what inspired this. Okay. Fun fact about your ATC that you might not have known. And you may not be watching because ATC Club may not necessarily even watch the show. That's so strange, but it's true. All right. I'm going to make another little kind of corner light. All right. We got to have a little corner light coming over here. Stage manager has a feeling. This extra tape is like, okay, good guess.
You've got all your tape all over.
Right. And these lights can all move independently. So, places I'm a painter. Here, 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 and here.
Oh, that does help.
That's where paint is going to go. All right. So I'm going to get one of my scumbly brushes. I guess I'll get my number 6. And I'll remove my pink before I start to paint because I don't need a pink light. But now I know where it is. I can start there. And I'm going to get my zincs. And you can even get a little glaze even in that into your zincs. And I'm going to paint that up. Glaze and zincs. Interesting and fun fact. You can do all kinds of things within your light. This is one of the first times we're doing subtractive work. I may even at some point get a rag.
Oh.
Painters. come back. And watch, I'll come on one side of the light, a little bit at the point, and I'll shade like one side of the light. John, who has to deal with our lighting all the time, probably could explain why this is like this, but it is like that. Where some of the light is more intense cast than other parts of the light.
Well, it's so complicated, but mostly it has to do with there's particles in the air that the light is reflecting off of.
Doesn't really look like very much at this stage, does it?
Yeah.
But it's so much.
But that light gets into the fog and it looks really cool.
It does. It does. And that's what we're trying to talk about here is the fog around her, the effects, the staging. All right, next one is right here. Dip my brush in water, take off all the extra, get a little of my glaze and my zinc. And I'm going to come here, not maybe past her, and then I'm going to go ahead and zinc this out. But do you guys remember what I did? Get a nice little cloth or paper towel or anything. I'm going to wipe it back. This act, the way I'm doing, is often referred to as rouging.
Oh.
Rouging. Some artists like to use chamois, and they have different things that they like to use, but canvas in a way that won't fall off in the next 10 years is all you got to do. Honestly, you just have to keep your canvas alive past your lifetime. And everything after that is somebody else's problem. Now here I have to paint around a couple things. Like I got to paint around her hair a little bit, but since I know I'm putting her hair back in black, I can kind of come around it, right? And I'm dry brushing this more in the area where, because I can't as easily say rub a towel. And see, just doing the scumbly method. And I'll do the titanium white on this one. You guys, if you didn't have a zinc, though, if you check the file and soon to be on our webpage, in our Facebook group, there's a whole bunch of buying guides for all the paint and all the brands. So this is the titanium white with glaze. It's a little different than the zinc, but it'll work, guys. I don't go to an art show and go, oh my gosh, I forgot this one thing, and then just leave, like on a pop-up. Generally don't make you paint at real art shows, but like at pop-ups they would. You know what I'm saying? I hang in. I find a way. I find a way. You find a way.
You make it through.
Fame hurts, and this is where you pay and sweat and blood and tears in the floor. Does anyone remember Debbie Allen's exact speech?
No, I do not.
She's like my hero with her. But
I can almost word for word recant everything that Captain Henry Gloval said.
That is not the same thing. All right, so I'm just giving myself that little shady lighting. Shady lighting. My lighting is a little bit skewed and trying to be gossipy. Da, 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 da. I love this. Sorry. Now is the reveal.
The peeling of the tapes.
Da, da, da,
Oh, that looks really cool.
Excuse me while I save my tape. Excuse me while I save my tape. Which is now a rock ballad. I'm not saying a good one. Putting my tape to the side. So this is the motion you see me doing is I'm taking my tape and putting it to the side where I can reuse it for traceables and other things later. Trippy, right?
Yeah.
Now, where did it go?
Where did what go?
My splash, fish, splashy.
I didn't
My
know.
splatters. I'll be back.
Ever since I got her this wireless mic thing, she's been a problem.
Am I like a real problem?
Just gets up and just
there
leaves.
They are. They're just behind
just,
me.
Like wanders off. See, and then she goes again. She found the stuff, and now I don't know.
I have two more things.
See, and this is
I have two more
I don't
things.
know. And then there's just
I have two
me
more
pushing
things.
buttons, kind of looking around at stuff, going, "Where'd the
These two
Sherpa go?"
things.
Oh, there's the Sherpa.
These two things and this thing. So this comes from my Galaxy set. I made a whole set of brushes for splattering because have you noticed I like a splatter?
I do.
I'm going to go like this. And I'm going to just splatter a little bit into the crowd. You don't have to do this part if you don't have a good splatter tool. I just like it. I think it's a nice touch. And I've got like several other layers of hard paint. It doesn't hurt me. But if you don't have a good splatter tool, don't do this part.
That adds sparkles.
It adds a little sparkle. I just wanted to add a little
Sparkle.
sparkle to her world.
You know, I don't know anyone who can't be benefited by
Sparkles?
it said in falsetto.
Super.
I will. Okay.
All right. Now I'm going to start coming in and working out some lights and some darks. Okay. So let's get we got to gray scale it out. We got our black all on our brush, right? And we've got our white. And we got to start shading some things and thinking about some things. So the first thing that we can think about is like right here. And I'm going to put my vision enhancers on. Wow, you mic'd me tight today.
Oh, sorry. Actually, I don't think it was the mic as much it was the little ear cuffy things.
No. It was down my back tight.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. So I'm going to just start to shade her face. Instead of thinking of it as a face, think of this as a ball. And the predominant amount of light that's cast on it is from the front. And if this ball has the predominant amount of light cast on it from the front, I'm going to bring a little bit of this light up the jawline. Right? It'll get darker the further away from the light source it gets. And I may even move myself down into a number 2.
Rebecca really loves that light function, the light feature you showed.
Yeah?
She's going to use it for some sunbeams.
It works for all those effects, underwater effects, concert effects, sunbeam effects, kidnapped by a spaceship cow effect.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was a shout out to Fancy Nancy. So I'm just light. See how I made that even lighter?
Yeah.
I'm just coming here and softening, painting in that light of her face. You know, and I've got this number 2. You could use a number 2 TheArtSherpa. You could use a number 2 Ruby Satin. You could use number 2, whatever brand you're painting today. You just want your smaller brush. Now, where I want to blend it, I'm going to get right into my glaze. I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that I'm softening that line.
A number 2 stick with filaments.
Just shading. And then see how I scumble this little edge right here and I soften it?
Yeah.
Right up
there. That all that shading is what's adding the face there.
Yeah, that's all that's happening.
That's what's getting the face to pop in.
Right. And then I can come in and create a darker value.
You're like making the jawbone and
come in along the hairline.
Like her cheekbone and her.
And then I'm going to come to, yeah, right here. Come to right down the little cheek. This is why she's a 2-hoot, is the shading part of it.
Oh, yeah.
Under her little jaw there. Got an ear I got to put in. Probably get into a number 2 Ruby Satin so I get crisp lines. So I'm just working that out as I go. Lighter and there we go. Like I can come here on the cheek. And I can even come above the brow bone with these lighter colors, see? Got those out. Hey! And then just blending it. It's amazing how it works. It's like the funnest thing. And you can fuss with this as long as you need to. I'm definitely going to have to get a Ruby Satin for that. Okay, so guys, I'm going to be working her mostly through this, and where'd it go? Where'd it go? All right, fine. I got to get, I will simply switch to my number 2 filbert. Other good detail brush I can use. And we can get the AC back on, babe, because I don't think I have a hair dryer for a while.
Okay.
And I am very hot. So what I'm doing is I'm coming back with my light color, and I'm tucking in the C shape that is my ear. And what you're going to find with things like your ear
Oh, there you go. Okay.
is that it's about patching these micro dark shades versus these light shades. So I'm going to definitely have my little black that I pulled out here, right here. I need a nice dark shade inside the ear, don't I? Come up here, little ear cartilage. We have a whole quest on how to paint ears if this is like your nemesis. We have pretty much a quest on everything. I'm going to make a nice dark shadow under the ear, back at the hairline, and I'm going to come down the jaw a little bit with it. Now, while I'm here, oh, I made the that paper noise, John, is the traceable.
Is it blowing
like
in the
a
wind?
Scalp. I was like, ugh, trophy. Traceable. So I'm just making sure I've got these little shadows. Right? And then we'll shade up on the jaw so it kind of comes under. Her neck is a little in shadow right there. And then you'll have to remember that she's got a spine, so be sure and catch that little twist. Sorry, it's just these little things. This is how I got her.
You just, I thought you left there and.
I'm build her up in these little weird glazy layers. That's all that happens. It's just like shading with a pencil. Just the same kind of little weird deal. Yeah, like blending that out. Isn't that crazy? And then I definitely want a little bit of the shadow coming up her jaw because jaws have a rounded shadow around them generally. You may not think about it. I just grab some pure black. There's stuff on my brush, so see how I'm just pulling that and revealing that. And then right there is pretty dark, so I got to darken that. This is super bright, so I'm going to knock that back. Doing good, doing good. Now I'm going to come and get a little bit of my white and a little bit of my gray, but I want a very light color. And maybe like right here, I'm going to add that little highlight. And then let's go ahead and add a little highlight along the top of the jaw. Okay. That fun? Maybe a little bit right there. And I wipe off with my towel, look at that. And I soften this. Soft, 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 soft. This is a very good exercise if skin tones, you've wanted to do them, you felt like doing them, but haven't been able to do them. This is a great place to start thinking about how those are built. Now, while this is going to sit to the side for a second, I'm going to get my detail. And I might even go right into my fluid white paint that I splattered stars with. And then along the front of her, I'm going to do this cool thing. I'm going to make the thinnest little line whoever saw to catch the front of that face. And I'll soften it, but I need it there, this like the space of this bright white. You guys see what I've got going? And that is the highlighting that you might see there. And then with this still brush, I'm going to get my zincs. And I'm going to come right on top. And I'm going to just tap a little bit of the highlight here and here, the zinc. But nothing mixed into it, just the zinc white. I'm still working that. And I rinse that out because I don't want my brush to get like built up. And make another very almost white, light gray, and I'll come right here, up the jawline, wipe off my little brush, wipe off my little brush, and just continuing to shade. All right. Let's get into our little dark colors. You can get your glaze if you need it. It will help you. And under the ear, along the hairline, and at the back angle of the jaw. A little more glaze. You're going to take this darkest color and blend that in. See how we're going down the hairline? There we go. And we're going to pull that a little bit into a V. When I've got that all stabilized out, I rinse out and I grab my number 2. Look at that. Isn't that crazy how that shades out? You know, always go back, but anything back I lost, you can always do. We're just working it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just coming in. These are these subtle transitions that can be so hard to get. Doesn't mean that you can't get them, though. What it means is you've got to get your patience on. Just subtly shading. My little number 2 filbert again. Just tap, 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 tap. When we go to put in the hair, you cannot believe how cool this will be. But see how out of nothing we have this very light skin. She's lit, right? From the front, we know all these things, even though it's black and white. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to work my ear. I'm going to get my mid-gray, like you do. Yeah, I went swirly, swirly, swirl to get that fluid nature up. I'm going to come here and paint my little ear. I'm going to give her a nice little lobe. I like a lobe. And then this part here is generally always a little bit lighter. Look at that. Crazy. You can also talk about a little bit in here that could be built out. I just wiped paint off and I'm going to just sort of blend that. Now I'm going to get right into my darkest black and I'm going to come behind this. And even a little bit behind this. And then under that little bit of the ear there. Can you guys see what we're doing? How we're building up this complicated little ear structure, but it's not actually that complicated. What's up? Oh, this is how painting is. Okay. And then maybe a little bit of a soft shading here. When I have that, I can come back with my lighter light and come right here. Even at the top of that. We can be like, oh, wait, no, there's a little bump in her ear. Sometimes the imperfections are as big of a deal as anything else. See how she's looking, and I'm going to sip my coffee. Oh, does she have an ear now? Yes, she does. Does she have a cheekbone? Where'd it come from? You.
That's
How you
right.
guys doing?
Good. Really, really good, actually.
Okay, cool.
Everybody's really enjoying this.
Now, her back. That's all the hard bit, right, guys? We just did that.
This is all like...
You just did the hard part.
It's downhill.
Yeah, it really is. So now I'm going to be just working out my shades of gray. And guess what? Only artists need all 50. I don't know what that movie was about. Clearly not painting.
No, I think it was a bad analogy.
I think it's just like, I just want to scream, but only people can only see like 10, maybe 15.
And
Me
really...
and the Sherpettes, we've got all 50. And nobody needs to get hurt.
And, you know, I...
No judgment. I'm just being silly. I'm going to just come here and I'm going to remember that this shoulder is in a lighter space, isn't it?
Yep.
Then coming down the arm, right? Coming back. Then we've got the bit where it goes into the elbow, and then we're going to come right back here. I love painting the elbow. It was like one of my favorite bits to do. Just the weirdest thing. You love what you love, right? And I'm just softly brushing.
They were asking, are you going to? I guess you're going to touch up her neck and
Oh,
work. Still,
everything.
you're still working up in there, huh?
Oh, yeah. No, we just did this. We still have a lot here, here, and here to go on.
Gotcha.
A shocking amount right there. So just buckle in for a while, guys.
All right. So there's a little bit here. They just gotta.
Yeah,
You know.
you guys we're here for a minute. We're building up value sets, right? We're lightening, we're building up our values, building them up, softening them out. Probably going to have to come back and re-soften that spine out. I got to really lighten this up. This is Scumbling. Technique Tuesdays, your friend. Technique Tuesdays is your friend now. You should come and paint with us on Technique Tuesday. Yeah, I got a theme song, babe.
Oh yeah.
Technique Tuesday is your friend now. You should come and paint with us. Now, right here where it's getting a little dry, another trick I can do is I can get my glazing medium and also blend. Look at that. Subtle transition are the best kind of transitions. Unless you're very strong on your value scale, and then don't worry about it. I guess lately some good stuff's been afoot in spite of the drama, social media stuff that's always going on, and I've been feeling a little bit happy. To see how we're starting to talk about our spine a little bit. We're starting to shade it out a little bit. We're getting our shading on. But we're not being shady. Somebody was like, I don't understand. Don't be shady. Work on your shading. And I was like, you got to come to my class, man. Well, you got to watch Real Housewives to understand shady. All right. So I am adding some of this darker paint into my brush. I'm working it through. You can see I'm going back, 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 back. See how that loads it in?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to come over here and make some gradations. So if I need more, I can come right here and go boop, boop, boop. Ah, there we go. That's how I get like sometimes a half shade. And I'm going to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle your brush, brush, brush. Wiggle, 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 wiggle your brush, brush, brush. Brush, brush, brush. You know you must wiggle your brush. And I'm going to take my glaze and softly blend this. And then come over a little bit and add a little right here, like you do. And then a little bit of something along the just like you do. And then to the back of the arm, underside of the arm, coming around here, right? And then shade that around. Because think of this as a tube. What were you saying Pape was? Balls and tubes? Shade it like it's balls and tubes.
Oh, hoses and yeah, they use
hoses and balls.
Hoses and balls. Yeah, the early animation styles were where they would use little ball nodes to indicate the points of animation movement, and then they would connect those balls with little rubber hoses.
So we're going to shade it not like it's a person, but like it's balls and hoses. Okay, so I'm going to add a little lighter color to my brush because I want to lighten up right here. This little part of her musculature and her bone work. I'm just coming right there. See how I'm doing that? Just lightening that up. And then I might lighten a little bit up right there. The neck behind her, this is a very interesting place to shade because some of it has to be slightly darker and some of it has to have some reflected light into it. So you've got to figure out how you're working those spaces out. Now right here, I've got a little bit of a lighter shade. So work it through, work it through. They come in, work, 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 work. Come in, work, 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 work. Work, you work it through. Work, you work it through. On the dance floor, on the canvas. See, I'm not good at this. RuPaul, help me. Or Weird Al, somebody. No, I'm happy. So I'm just making a little highlight there. You can see I'm building them up. Isn't that fun? Just like the face. Just like the face. Now I'm going to get a little highlight, and go work. And come right there. And I'm going to just sort of shade that in. And I've got this one right here at the shoulder, don't I?
Yeah.
Getting all Westworld up in here. They do, she kind of does look like the first prince of the Westworld hosts. She's a Westworld host. See, I finally did that Westworld painting you guys have been asking for. Westworld, done. I give, and I give some more. We're going to definitely come right here to the back of this. We're going to make sure that there's a highlight on this bone, right? Yeah, for sure. And then I'm going to come back here. And I'm going to highlight right there and all the way up the arm, man. And I'm going to soften it. See how I soften these lines? Look how soft my brush pressure is. It's like, this is how little paint's coming off. And it takes that long to get my knuckle all shaded. It's about being patient and consistent and scumbly. Be scumbly. You roughly scumbles. Captain Jack Sparrow says, I don't know. I can't do Captain Jack Sparrow. What is it? Do Captain Jack Sparrow for me, babe. It's like, I don't do impressions. Why are you calling me out for impressions? It's like,
that's not my thing.
Never been our thing in the marriage. John's never been like, let me do an impression for you.
Yeah, no, it's like.
Straight man, that's what you've been doing.
Is that what I do?
For like 20 years, it's straight man while you're like Dr. Cox inside your head. All right, yeah, I'm running some glaze and working it through the brush. And look, softening these edges. Have you guys softened them? Yeah, I'm going to breathe deeply. Do not panic. When you're doing a figure piece, it's so easy to get into a state of panic, isn't it? But you don't want to. You don't want to panic. If Ford can make all those robots by himself, I think Ford's a robot. That's just my personal opinion. But if Ford can make all those robots by himself, you for sure. That's not a spoiler. That's just like you watch Westworld. Intro. They introduce you to Ford. I'm just saying we can paint her. So see how I'm using the glaze to softly shade everything? Now an interesting thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little of my zincs. And I'm going to come right here. And I think I'm going to add a little bit right here of my zinc. I may need some more zinc. I love using zincs to create those little weird shadows. So I'm going to put some more out. That's how much I love it, guys. That's how much I love it. Let's get right to that ball of that shoulder and even do some more of this, right? And I'm tapping that out.
Yeah.
Right there in that spot. And then I think this definitely needs a little bit of a tap out right there. Oh, let's give this something as a foot there, huh? Love it. I love it. And I'm just going to continue for a second, just highlighting some stuff, right? Using the zincs. Have you highlighted her tubes and balls? All right. A little more. And then we're almost there, guys. We do a little elbow. And then we're going to get into a bodice, which is pretty fun. If you didn't know, it is pretty fun. That in a little bit. Yeah, tapping it in.
Yeah.
I just work these little things in. I have a blast. Tap it in, tap it in. Now, rinse this out, put it to the side to have a little rest, and get your small little number 2 out. And you're going to get a little of your black onto your number 2. You're going to get your glazing medium into it. Go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So that's sort of, see how that, oh, man! Don't put quinacridone magenta on there.
No.
Rinse it out as thoroughly as possible if you did, like I just did. Go back, load up with a little smidge of black, and work it through the glaze and come away from your quinacridone. I've got to make a little shadow here. I'm going to come right here and do an interesting thing. I'm going to make this little shadow right here. And then right under here, I've got to make a little bit of a shadow, even though we're going to come back with some highlights. Now I'm going to get my little highlight stuff and get a brighter highlight. And I'm going to make a little bit of a bone right here. And then I'm also going to imply a little bit of a bone right there. In a minute, I'll hit an outer outline. I just want to show that that's happening. You guys see the bones?
Mm-hmm.
Oop, got a little bit white there, where I didn't want the white. So I'm going to rinse out and get my darker gray color. Come back and just make sure that I've got I've got to come back with a little of my zincs. Hey, I do it. Don't worry about it, I do it. Now, hopefully we can see some elbow. You see your elbow is happening there? Are you guys tripping out? I hope you're tripping out.
Oh, yeah.
You should be tripping. I get a little of my titanium white for over here. I'm going to go like that. A little dash. A little highlight, and then maybe a little bit. We could highlight right up the center, huh? Couldn't we? Now, remember how I did with the outline there? Guess what I got to come do? I got to get a little more of my fluid white. And you're going to come to the outside of her arm. And you're going to create a halo light around her. Even at the front of the neck. See how the halo light's looking? I'm going to step back a little bit. You guys look at the halo light. You got your halo lights?
Yeah, I think so.
Interestingly enough, you do something else on the other side. You're going to take a little of your Prussian if you have any left. And if you don't, you're going to put out some Prussian. Press your Prussian, if you can find your Prussian blue. And you're going to do the halo with the blue light, okay? So I'm going to take my number 2 and I'm going to load up with just a little zinc and my Prussian. And I'll just come around that side. Yeah, we did. Not crazy. And then I like this a little bit in the blue on her. But yeah, I totally do. It's crazy, but I love it. I'll come right here around her hair a little bit.
Oh.
Now, I'm going to make one more little dark gray pass down the center. Darker than that. Goodness gracious. I know there's color shift, but I got to at least let it darken up a little bit. And let's shade her bodice, which is a lot lighter, isn't it? So let's get right into our lighter colors. We want it to be off-white where we still have a white we can lighten up to. So we just want several shades of off-white. How are you guys doing? How are they doing?
Really good.
I'm going to be painting it all this color so I can take questions for a second if anybody had any.
Well, good. So, I was just answering here. Diane was asking if it's okay to use paint pens for some of this.
Yes.
And
make sure there are paint pens in there for this. And if they're oil paint pens, you cannot paint on top of them with any acrylic product.
So the big thing is to make sure that you have material compatibility with your pens.
Just make sure you've got material compatibility.
Yeah. So just read your instructions on the pen, make sure that they're compatible with acrylics and that they can be painted over or on top of. If, that's a big thing.
If a pen didn't tell me how I could use it, I'd be very inclined to not use that pen. To be real honest, I would be looking at it real hard going, hey! Alright, so I'm just coming across here and I'm just getting this built up. I feel like sometimes it helps the directionality of brush strokes and things. Talk about the shape of her body, but what we're really doing is what we did everywhere. We're building her up, aren't we? Mm-hmm. Tutu's the funnest part, so saving that for last. I'm going to make a lighter, not quite white, but still lighter, off gray, and I'm going to be just painting that. Right up here in the back with that slightly lighter color. Can you see how that is?
Yeah.
I'm on a summer day when you were gone to the bridge. All right. I love it. Okay. I'm leaving this darker value at above her hip space and below her rib cage to help accentuate the deep recess of her waist. If I need to come back with a slightly darker color, that's pretty easy for me to do. Basically what I'm doing is I'm talking about that press in that happens. A little more white again. Highlighting her here. I'm going to come really with the strong paint right there and across and down and across. How we're doing? She's getting this little tutu, isn't she?
Yeah.
A little bit less over here because this would all be more in shadow, wouldn't it? Pulling that all down. Now, fun stuff, but I've got to find the brush I just dropped. There it is. Don't. Show them the palette, John. Got it. Yeah, you could take a tour around. Show them the canvas for a minute and give them a tour. See where we're at. Good deal. You may have noticed I took the corset down really far. That's because I wanted lots of room. That's all that is. I'm going to make a, I think actually my initial stroke for this, I'm going to pull out some of my fluid black to help myself out. So I'm going to first just make some X's with some fluid black. See what I'm doing? Coming up. You can even come down the sides of the corset with it. Shading everything. High flow, fluid, soft body, you know, the soft paint. The sassy, sassy soft paint. Here we go. It is all good. Now, while that's having a little dry, while it's having a little think, I might come along and make myself a nice dark gray. And take a little minute to come above her little corset. Maybe add a little wrinkling there and a little extra shadow. Can you see what I did?
Yeah.
Doesn't take a lot, but it should be there. And so let's take a minute and make sure that we show that skin is gathered somewhat. And while I'm there letting the skin be gathered, I'm going to go ahead and grab a little of my black and paint in the fluid black, her hair to the hairline, but not much passed down because I've got to make little hairs and all kinds of details. And so it's important And I get this first layer of black in. A little bit at the back of the bun, right? And I like to do my brush stroke around the direction of the bun so that it's implied there. And while I've got this brush, I'm going to do a thing. I'm going to come and get in my white, and I'm going to make a little gray. I may get a little glaze, but what I need to do is come under my hairline with a bit of a shadow. You guys see the shadow under the hairline? We need the shadow in the hairline, or we're going to have some trouble later. I wipe out my brush, and then I can come back pretty easily with my black paint, but I need to have that little bit of hair shadow. So that can have a little rest. I'm going to get fresh, clean water, or I get some fresh, clean water actually.
Yeah, absolutely. 1 second.
Nina. Hey, sweetie. It's okay.
I forgot.
So I'm going to get some fresh, clean water, and the reason is I want the tutu to be quite bright, and my water is very murky. Too murky. And so it's a good time to change it and to change it out. And
Kevin could be hiding in that water.
Kevin is hiding in that water. He's been fighting me for the brush for like the last 15 minutes. What do you think is slowing me down? That's why I'm so slow today.
There you go, Cinnamon.
So I'm going to take this and now make sure my brush is clean. And I'm going to paint my first layer of pink tutu, which is going to be a little bit of my quinacridone onto my brush and some of my white. You can cool it if you want to with a smidge. Oh, that's a lot of it. A smidge of your Prussian. But I do want it to be pink. And I'm going to come here. I'm going to go to the side. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this up and make a happy little smile where the base of her corset ends. And I'm going to begin by taking this color and just arcing these brush strokes down. And I'll have to decide, like I may have to come up further on her corset, but I want to start, I'm fairly sure. And these are just loose brush strokes initially. They're going to build up. Again, a little blue into your pink, but you still want your pink to be pinkish. Some white. It's a darker pink at this point. And you're just pulling these strong brush strokes down. And I'm going to cover out nearly all the black guys. And I may even go this direction so I have a nicer place to stroke my paint. I know how that sounds, but that's what we're doing. See how we're doing these big, bold strokes for the tutu initially. Now they build up and we create some delicate little tool strokes, but we're just trying to build the architecture under which a little blue into my brush, 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 a little pink into my brush, 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 a little blue, brush, 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 brush. See, that's worked all through the bristles. So now when I'm picking up the white, they're pretty stained. The white's getting tinted on the canvas. I'm not working that hard anymore. I paint every day, so I can't make it harder than it is. There we go. Just working this little tutu up, making sure there's a foundation. Now, really quick, I'm going to take a little of my blue, probably flip this over so it's there, and I'm going to come underneath this corset like this, get some glaze, and it's okay to add some of that weird glazing blue out into the tutu. It's going to help it pop. The cool to warm colors on here are definitely in play. And we're trying to remember Just trying to remember that there's got to be kind of a gathering shadow. Now, I'm going to rinse out. I need one more gathering shadow, but I'm going to go ahead and get a different brush for it. And then I've got to do something about my little zigs and then add some zags. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little of my black in my Prussian blue. And I'm going to make sure that I just come along right here under the edge with my tiny little brush and sort of this little light shadow that I'm making. I come back and pull it up. Right. I don't want to take it out too far. And what I'm doing is I'm just feathering that edge so that it's not a harsh line. And this is going to create where everything is tight and tied tightly. And then I'm going to grab my small brush and I am going to make a kind of a light gray. Pretty light. And then I'm going to come along here. And so I don't have a dyslexic moment, I'm going to do like this because I have to decide which side the shadow's on, which is the bottom side of the lacing. So see how by adding that dark I can create that top shadow on the lacing early. We'll let that dry for just a second and then I'll put the cross lacings in and then they'll be there. I'm going to put out a little more of my titanium white. My titanium white. My titanium white. It is so bright, my titanium white. I've got my nice little number 6. I might tip with a little bit of the pink and work it through. That sort of work through. Also notice there where I have water and I'm going like this, it's foaming. That's what the anti-foaming agents are for. Learn that. Learn that. All right, so I'm making a much lighter color this time. And I'm making these more open little strokes. See how they're more like rough and open? A little more tutu-y little stroke. This is big, like all this sort of like busted up pool is happening right here. Some of these are more white, some of these are more pink. Looking at my girl, I think I placed her a little further down the canvas than last time. That's fine. Gonna stop me. You can't really over tutu her, to be real honest.
Huh.
It's just too fun to do. The tutu. And then I'll even come back over it with just some pure white. Look at that. And that helps make the tutu.
Oh, man, you're going all over the place there.
Huh?
So you're just jumping on me.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm just trying to tutu my tutu. We're nearly done. We're just got to do the laces and the hair.
I know.
All right. So now I'm going to come and I'm going to get a little bit of black on my brush. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to finish the X's. Let's finish the X's. I might even just very lightly make a little line under the tutu. Make it feel like it's deep there. Because she wants it to be deep. Girl told me. Girl told me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have to do her hair. And to do her hair, I've got to do some shading. So I'm going to take my black and kind of work it through my number 2 Cambridge. I'm going to get my white. And I'm going to make the first of my highlights. And there's the ones that are going to come around the bun.
Hold on, let me get a
So
pair.
here's the midpoint of the bun.
Hold on, I gotta get a pair. Okay.
And I'm going to curve this stroke. And I'm really only going to put it in this first half of the bun. There might be just a smidge right there. Also up here at the top of the hair. I'm going to keep this very light. See what I'm doing? Sweeping back. There could be a little bit right there. So we paint her dark hair via the reflections. If I take that down too far, I have to come back with the black and fade it out, see? Let's work it through and just make sure we've got the reflections that we need to have. So, okay. And then the next reflections are much lighter. I don't want them to be white, so I'll go ahead and work a little black pigment through there, but they're going to be an off-white, close to white. The reason they're not white is I'm going to be doing some little fine hairs that are coming through, and I don't want to lose them. Little reflection right there. I'm going to stop. Maybe put one right there. I'm going to stop. You see how the high highlight reflections there?
Oh, yeah.
That's too much. And maybe like one right here. It's important. I'm going to get a little more white on here. Right there. Right there. 1 and 2. So now we have that designed and thought about. And come back and get a little bit of my gray on there and get my white to not really white reflections. They are there. All right, we've got that in. Get your detail brush. And your first little details, this is going to be fun, are going to be pretty gray. And I may actually put out some fresh fluid paint so that it's really coming off my brush for me. And I'm going to go ahead and take my fluid black and my fluid white and make some very light fluidy gray hair colors that I could do. And I am just coming along here. Coming underneath this, and there we go, little light lines. So they're light and they're thin and they're fine. But they're not the brightest white, right? And that's an important thing when we're talking about this. And I may even tap down into a smaller, I'm going to do this here a little bit. The little hair has gotten loose out of here. I'll rinse out. I'm going to get an even finer lining brush. I'm going to get one of my finest lining brushes. This is my 3/0, my buddy. I'm going to load up. Take some little fine hairs out here. Let's come up here. Definitely need to light top of the hair. And then we're going to come off the back of her head.
You're all focused on
I
putting
am.
the hairs
so I'm
in
just
there.
making these little hairlines.
It's like, did we lose the music?
To make this good, I'm going to get a little
sound?
of my black and gray, again, on this tiny little brush. And I'm going to just make sure that I am bringing little fine hairs along her little hairline. You can even take some down in front of her ear. It can be very softening. And it's also a good idea to rinse. I'm going to rinse out. It can be nice to take some of these darker hairs, right?
Yeah.
Behind the ear. If anything got away from you, you can always come back. And fix its definition. Look at that. See how we're just fixing the hair? Whether what we have is the fine white line of a hair or the dark line of a hair coming up, it's these little tendrils that tell us a lot about her and help us see the softness of her. Now, while I'm at it, I'll rinse out. I'll go back to that other little brush and I'll get my white. And now I'm going to come and highlight the top of my cross-X that I had. And I have these sort of really three-dimensional laces on her back, don't I? A little brush, gonna load that little sucker up. You can, if you want, do a little dot. Twinkle a few of these into the night. Twinkle all of them, twinkle some of them.
Twinkle away.
Sometimes it's nice to do like a little X twinkle on camera shot. Depends on your preference, right? Then you take your little thing and you sign your name when you're happy.
You just snuck that right in there.
I did.
Wow.
I am so excited about Degas, which we have coming up. Please check the upcoming playlist. And how you're going to do that is you're going to go to our website, TheArtSherpa.com, and you're going to check the new calendar tool. And you can go forward into the months, and you can plan out the next couple months of painting. You can search it by keyword now, and so it could be like ballet dancers, and everything I've done that's ballet will pull up for you.
Can I suggest that? Go to the videos search page on our website. Just go to the TheArtSherpa.com. Go to TheArtSherpa.com, click on videos, and then just type in whatever you want in the search. Blonde hair, it'll talk to you about all the blonde hair videos we have. If you want to talk about red hair, it'll tell you about all the red hair videos. So if you want to do any hair colors on this, there's a bunch of videos out there that'll help you with
I haven't done that search. Did you test that one recently?
Yep, I did.
Okay.
Someone was
That's
just
why
asking.
I was like thinking of it. If you like owls, everyone's always like, "Do you have any owls?"
Yep, it's all out there, and
we
you can link to
have
it.
so many more owls than you think that we have. It's not even funny, including an owl with a dragon and a spaceship. You didn't know that, but we have one. We have a very grumpy owl. We have a cute little owl. We have a lot of owls. Spacey galactic owls. Ballerinas. There's a playlist. So sometimes it can be hard to use some of the tools to find things, but not on our website. It's incredibly easy. It's easier than in any painting party place you've ever been to. Just go search what you feel like painting. It's got it broken down into difficulties. You're going to be blown away. And check the calendar to see what you want to be here for live next. But if you want to be notified, be sure to sign up for notifications.
Notifications.
You can get gnomified
Yeah.
with the gnomes.
Gnome.
Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And I want to see you with the easel really soon.